so it's 3 o'clock. Is everybody ready? Do we have any speaker cards that need to be filled out today? Yes, ma'am, they're ready. Okay, let me mention it. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. I have to read the guidelines before we hear the first case, so everybody bear with me. This is a public hearing, and we are the Zoning Board of Adjustment for Putnam County, Florida. We operate under the authority of Articles 11 and 12 of the Land Development Code as amended. The primary responsibility of the board is to hear and decide appeals challenging final determinations made by the Planning and Development Services Department under the Land Development Code, and to hear and act upon requests for variances, special use permits, non-conforming use determinations, and preliminary development plans under the Land Development Code. Today we only have a request for special use, so I'm going to skip the section on a variance. A special use permit is a special permission to use property in a fashion in which the zoning classification of the property does not automatically permit. If we grant a special use permit, we may impose reasonable conditions on the use of the property, which must be satisfied if the special use permit is to remain valid. Unlike a change in the zoning classification, as a general rule, a special use permit applies only to the specific use requested in the application for a special use permit. The standards we use in deciding whether or not to grant a special use permit are listed in section 12.12.3 of the Land Development Code. Procedurally, we will call each case by name and number. A member of the staff will then briefly explain to us the nature of each request. We will then take any comments from the applicant or their representative, followed by any public comments concerning the request. Please direct all comments and statements to the board and not to other people in the audience. Before speaking, we will ask each person to be recognized, come forward to the lectern, and identify his or herself by name and address. After all persons wishing to speak have been heard, we will entertain a motion from the board. This motion will be voted on by the board members and become our final order. Any decisions made by this board can be appealed to the circuit court. However, any appeal must be filed within 30 days after the Board of Adjustment has rendered the final order which is being appealed. I have a question. If there's anyone wishing to speak except the applicant today, you need to fill out a speaker card, and those cards are right behind the young lady at the desk. Okay, are there any questions so far? Okay, before the first case is heard, all of those wishing to speak today need to be sworn in. So will the notary please administer the oath? Okay, the first case today is Special Use Permit 21-006. Ready?
This is an application for an electrical utility substation. The applicant is Florida Power and Light. The location is 234 Old Highway 17, Pomona Park. The future land use is rural residential, and the zoning is residential too. This is an aerial map of the property, outlined in orange. This is the future land use and the zoning. Per section 12.12.03 of the Land Development Code, LDC, the Zoning Board of Adjustments needs to evaluate the application and make determination based on the following findings of fact. The use is consistent with the comprehensive plan and meets all the concurrency requirements. Staff analysis. The comprehensive plan policy A174 states electrical substations shall be permissible in all future land use categories. The proposed substation will be unmanned and have little impact on the local roadway facilities. The use is allowed as a special use in the zoning district in which the property is located and will conform to all applicable regulations of the code. Section 45-62 of the LDC defines essential public services as small-scale public facilities and services that are typically necessary spread throughout the community. This includes electrical substations. Section 45-76C5 of the LDC provides essential public services in residential 2 zoning districts subject to the special use permit. The special use will not adversely impact nor unduly restrict the enjoyment of the permitted uses within the surrounding area. The subject property is surrounded by residentially zoned properties and is directly adjacent to an existing FPL transmission easement. Surrounding development consists of low-density residential development. This use will not adversely impact or unduly restrict the enjoyment of the permitted uses in the surrounding area. The special use will not substantially diminish or impair the property values in the area. The development of an electrical substation is surrounded by, again, residentially zoned property directly adjacent to an FPL transmission easement, and it's not adversely to diminish, impair, or property values in the area, nor impede the orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for permitted uses. Adequate access roads, on-site parking, on-site loading, and drainage have been or will be provided when required. Then the next question is adequate measures have been taken to provide egress in the property that are designed in a manner to minimize the traffic impacts on a local road. This is the same answer basically for both. The subject parcel has frontage on Old Highway 17. This is an unmanned site. The applicant proposes a 200-foot driveway that is 24 feet in width, contains a 75-foot turnaround for service and emergency vehicles. So there's not going to be a lot of interaction with the neighboring properties. Adequate screening and buffering of the special use will be provided if needed. The development will be required to meet buffering and landscape requirements set forth in the Land Development Code. The special use will not have signs or exterior lighting that will cause glare or adversely impact traffic. The applicant has not requested any signage at this time. Any signs or lighting must conform to the standards set forth in the Land Development Code. There will be no undue risks to persons or property from hazardous substances. The use or storage of hazardous materials not proposed. In addition, a chain link security fence is proposed for safety, which will be 7 feet in height, topped with barbed wire for a maximum of 8 feet in height. This is interior to the site itself. This is not along the perimeter. There will be no undue risks to person or property from hazardous substance as a result from this proposed use. The proposed special use would not adversely affect the general public, health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Putnam County. The development and use as an electrical substation at this site will not adversely affect the general public, health, safety, and welfare of the area residents. In conclusion, the applicant has requested a special use permit to allow for the location of an electrical utility substation in the R2 zoning district. Florida statute 163.3208 states, new substations shall be permitted in all land use categories, providing for reasonable local land development regulations addressing only setbacks, landscaping, buffering, screening, and lighting. The proposed electrical utility substation meets the criteria for the special use permit. Staff recommends approval of the request. The applicant is here for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from staff? Okay, at this time, before we hear from the applicant, let's have a site visit roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, we have today the agent for the Florida Power and Light is Christopher J. Allen. So would you want to come forward and address the board?
My name is Christopher Allen. I'm with Dewberry Engineering, a consultant to FPL at 800 North Magnolia Avenue, Orlando, Florida. I would just like to add that the substation is intended to harden the infrastructure in the area and prevent it against future outages. We've reviewed staff's finding and we're agreeing with staff's report, and we're available if you have any questions.
That was short. Any questions from?
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. From Mr. Allen then? Any questions? Okay, thank you. I have a question for our board attorney, Mr. Perry. If no one signed a speaker card, am I required to ask for anyone who wishes to come forward to speak in favor or opposition?
Ma'am, there's no name on the card? It's filled out, except it doesn't have a name?
Yeah, on the speaker card, if you wish to address the board,
Right.
they do put the person's name. So my question is, since no one stood up to be sworn in, do I have to ask the question, is anyone here speaking in favor or opposition?
Madam Chair, I would ask the question.
Okay, I just wanted some clarification.
That's fine.
I mean, okay, so since I'm going to ask the question, is anyone in the audience today wishing to come forward and speak in favor of the application? No one's coming forward. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak in opposition? No one's come forward. So at this time, we'll close this section of the meeting to the public and open it up for board discussion and motion.
Madam Chairman, I move we approve special use permit 21-006 as the request meets the criteria for special use permit required by section 12-1203 of the Putnam County Land Development Code and authorize the chairman to sign the final order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve special use permit 21-006. Is there any further discussion? If none, all of those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion carries 5-0. Good luck in your endeavor, and there is still a 30-day appeal process. And I want you to know that this is a record time for a meeting today. Good luck and thank you for driving all the way from Orlando. Okay, we have any old business? Any new business?
Minutes.
And we have the minutes for June 16th, 2021. Has everybody had a chance to read them?
Motion we approve?
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the minutes of June 16th, 2021. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. I guess we're out of here.
Move we adjourn.
Move we adjourn. Now, I was just curious from the standpoint of procedure, because if anybody wants to speak, they're supposed to be sworn in, so.
I understand.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, my main concern, though, is one of the reasons that I'm even here at all, is just to make sure